Awesome. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Thanks for taking some time during a lunch break and hopping in here. Um, we are back with the Tech Center office hours presentations after a short summer break, and we are excited to share our plans for what you can expect over the next couple of months. We'll talk about that at the end, but let's dive in. Closed captioning is available for today's session, and a recording, including the slides, will be emailed to you in about 10 business days. My colleagues are monitoring the chat. Please, post your questions there. We will get to them at the end, or as we go through the session screens, we might pause and take them as we go. Um, for those who haven't joined us before, our Tech Center sessions focus on a particular feature of one of our products. In today's presentation, we're going to go over the CCCApply admin tool, which is the staff-facing tool, and we will, set the tone for an in-depth look at each of these areas in future sessions. And we will also talk about the support that's available to you and your staff at your schools. For those who are new to the system, welcome. And my name is Michael Tattuvaswamy. I'm the director of the Enabling Services and Support team here at the Tech Center. Today, I'm joined by Ramya Hari, who is one of our college experience managers. She will lead today's session. Also in attendance is Jane Linder, director of the Student Success Suite products, Sandoval, who is our director of communications, and my colleagues, Beth, Monica, who are the college experience managers, and Patty will be joining if she's not already here, who is the Triple X product manager. So here's the agenda for today. We're going to dive in and show you how you can configure terms, major rules and messages, and supplemental questions in the application, in the administrator application. We'll briefly talk about what's new in the spam filter and our fraud fighting efforts, and we will direct you to where you can find more details about those efforts. How we have structured today's session is these slides have important notes and also link to the user admin user guide that has all the details that you will need. So once I turn this to Ramya, we will dive in and start actually walking you through the application and the screens and how you can configure each of these areas. We try to keep these presentations to about 20 minutes so that we can give ourselves enough time to take questions. So feel free to use the chat tool, and we will get to as many questions as possible. And if we miss it, we will circle back with you. So with that, let's go to the let's dive in. Here is a quick overview of a CCApply administrative platform and what it allows end users at the schools to do. You can manage, like we talked about, you can configure the terms, majors, rules, and messages, and the supplemental questions. The administrative platform is also the access to the bulk CCCID account creation tool. Each of these needs separate approved access, and you can reach out to a staff support team to request access to these areas in the administrative platform, including the spam filter. Okay, next slide, Rami. All right. So there's the link to the user guide. We will drop the link to the user guide in chat as well so that you don't have to wait till we get email these slide decks to you. And once you log in to the admin platform, this is your view. Assuming you have just the standard application administration, you will see this. But if you are administering the standard application, international application, then you can select which one you want to administer by clicking on applications and selecting the appropriate application. All right, so let's dive in. Let's take a look at terms and the other sections. Like I mentioned, the slide decks have notes to help you when you receive them, but today we will focus heavily on the live walkthrough. Okay, over to you, Ramya. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. So like Michael mentioned, we'll talk about different modules within our administrator tool, which enables colleges to do many settings within our CCCApply applications. These slide decks, like he mentioned, they have bullet points, but I will jump in to the actual administrator tool and talk about each module. When college admins log into the administrator tool, they will see their assigned college name here. They don't have to select if it's a single college district. If it's a multi-college district, based on their level of access, they'll be able to select that particular college. Different modules are specified here. The landing page is always to the standard application and the non-credit, which mentions here as a CCCApply. If you have access to international and BOG, clicking on the application dropdown will provide you those two application access. Jumping into terms, the way you set up terms for both our standard application, non-credit, and international is the same workflow. So I'll just talk about the default application within the administrator tool, which is a standard application. So clicking on terms, hopefully I'm not logged out, will provide you already set up terms. It shows different status. The open status obviously points out that these different applications are open for the student within your standard application drop-down term list. The easiest way to do in terms of adding a new term is using this add term button, which opens up a new dialog where you can submit a unique term code. Start and end dates are mandatory. This basically tells when the particular term starts and when it ends. The open and close date is also mandatory. This open date and the close date basically tells or specifies when the application is open for the students to start applying within the application. Let's say the term start date is August 1st, but you open the application for the students to start applying from July 1st. So that will be your open date. And the close date would basically be when you don't want any more students applying for that particular term. You can provide a brief description as to what term it is, whether it's a fall term, summer, winter, depending on the term code. The application type also gives the colleges an ability to check or to select between standard versus non-credit. Let's say you have two different terms for your non-credit students versus your standard students. You can activate terms for each of these applications. If the term falls in between the same date range, then you can just select both and that term will be displayed in the application. You can use the import export button to bulk import. It imports into a .csv file. You can make changes and export it back into the administrator tool. Going to the majors. Again, we have import export buttons. When it comes to these import export buttons within the major tool, it's more helpful here because colleges can access the entire list of programs that particular college offers and make changes and upload it back. If you just have one major to add, you can definitely use this add major button. Or if you choose to, let's say, edit a particular major, one or two majors, you can definitely use this edit button here. Otherwise, import export majors really comes handy. I can quickly show you. When you do import majors, it downloads everything into a .csv file. And you can make changes here, add new programs, delete, not delete necessarily, basically the end, you need to specify an end date to a particular program if you don't want that to be shown in the application itself. Provide the appropriate award type. And you can always, you can also describe which application this particular major should be shown in, whether it's standard, non-credit, or both. If you want a particular major to be shown in non-credit, or in other terms, if you want majors to be displayed in the non-credit, at least one major should be specified as non-credit application type only. Coming to categories, which some people call it as meta majors, each program can fall into a particular category. It can have one category, it can fall into one category or more than one category. The way you do it is within your CSV file, you can, you can just separate it with a comma. I'm just going to say category 3, save it, and then you can import it back into the administrator tool. But one thing to keep in mind would be when you're importing this back into the admin tool, you need to make sure that the start and end dates need to be customized in a proper manner. For that, you need to select these two, right-click, format cells, and the formatting should be in MMDDYYY. So MMDDYYY. Click OK. It displays. Save it, and you can easily import it back into the admin tool. If you don't have this formatting proper, the importing will not be successful within the administrator tool. And the other one is, we talked about import export. We talked about adding just one or two majors using this add button. This is the delete button. Once you have the category established for a particular major, you'll see this plus sign here. I can always take a look at it by clicking on the plus sign. Ooh, this has some category here. So if I click on accounting, it says business and applied technology. So this falls under this category. Basically, within your application drop-down, once a particular college configures the categories for their program, you will have a different section for the students to choose a particular category, and then the program of study, which falls under the category that the student has selected. If there is no category established for a particular major, then you won't see the plus sign here. The other feature that is available for the colleges is to establish the transfer major filter. This is a checkbox. If the college chooses to enable this, then, and if the categories are established within the CAP admin tool, based on different category, the award types like AAT, AST, AA degrees, and AS degrees will be displayed when they select obtain an associate degree and transfer to a 4-year institution, under the ED goal filter within the application. So that's about major. Again, this is a very quick overview of different modules. If you want in-depth training session, we can always set up a one-on-one session, and you can reach out to us through the email that is, Monica or Beth, can you just put the email address in the chat? Jumping on to the next module, rules and messages. Well, when it comes to rules, there are two types of rules that colleges can configure. One is called the email rule, which triggers after the student has submitted the application. And this email rule is based on all the application data elements. I'll very briefly show you how to set that up. The other rule is the error rule, which provides an error message, like a dialog box within the application before they submit. Let's say you want your students to answer a particular question within the application. You can set up that error rule saying, hey, go back to ESL question, or go back to needs and interest section, and please answer this question or within the application. So this error rule generates before they submit the application, but it triggers when they click on submit the application and has not answered that particular question. So to show you very quickly, I've created a rule here. This is a very common rule that most colleges use, which is a welcome email. There are references here within the administrator tool that gives you an example of as to how you can set up different rules. So this one basically says any student that comes into CCTC College A and submits an application, we want them to get a welcome email from the college. Before you create a rule, email rule specifically, you have to create a message that gets associated with the email rule. You can see here, I have created this message, welcome email. If I click on the edit button, it has to have an ID that is mandatory because this ID is the one that we specify within the rules module so that it pulls this description. Again, within the message content, you can provide or you can grab information from the student. You can say dear student, or you can say dear using their first name, and those application data fields are available here. So in this case, it says, if it's me who's applying for college A, it says, dear Ramya, welcome to so-and-so. And it also represents from where the college is, from where this email is coming from. So we set up this message first before we create the rule. So this has already been created. I can go back to the rule section. And if I click on edit here, the message ID is generally selected using this drop-down field. And when you do select the message ID, depending on the rule that you're generating, that message ID comes in handy here. So what this basically says is for any student that applies to this college, I want them to get a welcome email. And this represents from which email address this particular message is going to the student's email inbox. And this is nothing but the subject line for that email. So like I mentioned, there are many references that you can take a look at within the administrator tool. There is also a preview of the rule that you just created. The way you can test it out is the criteria that you would have provided in the message content, wherein, if you remember, I showed you, it says dear first name. So that is what gets pulled. So if I write Ramya here, the message here indicates this is going from so-and-so email address to the student's email address. And it specifies, dear Ramya, welcome to college A. Please allow business days to process your application, and the admissions office signature here at the bottom. That is how you can check whether your rule is working or not. I'm just going to cancel this. That is email rule, which triggers after the submission of application. The error rule basically waits until the student has filled up the entire application, hits the submit button, and it goes back and checks whether a particular criteria has been fulfilled or not. In this example, I've created a very simple error rule. This is not a mandatory question within the application, the ESL within the needs and interests section. But I said, if ESL is false when the student is submitting the application, pop in a display error message saying, please answer ESL question. So this displays to the students if they have left it blank, that is a check button within the application. If they don't check the ESL question, they're going to see this error message at the upper right-hand corner of the application, and they should click OK and go back and answer that question. Again, there is a preview section for the error message also. If I say false, this is how the error message displays. It says, please answer ESL question, clicking OK. Students can go to the previous pages and answer. And if I say true, then there is no error message that displays to the student. All right. We talked about welcome email. I just took a screenshot of how that email would display for the student inbox. And this is the email that I got when I submitted an application to College A. And this is exactly what the content was in the message content that we created previously. All right. The next module is going to be supplemental questions. Supplemental questions is not a mandatory uh, for the colleges to have an XML file. It is definitely an optional functionality. Many colleges have seen they use the supplemental questionnaire. Basically, this helps in asking students what is not already there in the application itself. Similar to our terms and majors, where we can configure terms and majors to fall within, be it standard application or the non-credit, within the XML file, the supplemental questionnaire, we can definitely configure which application should have the XML file and which shouldn't be. If you don't want any additional questions for the non-credit students, you don't need to create an XML file for the non-credit students. If it's just for the standard application, the default is always for the standard application. I have created the supplemental questionnaire and I've downloaded already. I'll just share here. So this example, can you let me know if you can see this okay, or should I increase the font a little bit more?
If you can zoom, there you go. Thank you.
Okay, okay. So this example here is for the standard application. The way we can distinguish between the XML file for the standard application versus the non-credit is, for the non-credit XML file, you have to specify an attribute called the application type. I have an example here as well. So you need to have this attribute called application type equal to non-credit. So what happens is when you choose this file, XML file, and download it into the admin tool, if I go back here, it does specify that this XML file, which is already active, is specifically for the non-credit application. If you don't specify that, it is defaulted to the standard application. There are many things you can do within the XML file. You can have like a checkbox, drop-down options, text fields. If you're pro in programming, there are many things that you can do within the XML file. The other thing within the supplemental questionnaire is the Spanish language. The application itself can be toggled between English and Spanish. But when it comes to the supplemental questionnaire, if you don't have the Spanish conversion included in the XML already, the questions will not be converted to Spanish. The browser cannot convert those XML file questions into Spanish. So you have to have Spanish language already included within your XML file so that when the student toggles between English and Spanish, they see that specific language, be it English or Spanish. So you need to have this local language equal to ES and provide questions in Spanish for that to reflect. So that is for supplemental questions. So once you create your XML file, you need to use this import XML functionality and import the XML file based on the application type. If you mentioned application type, it becomes specific to non-credit or the standard application. Monica, there's a question?
We have some questions in the chat and Patty's keeping up pretty well, but just in case, Michael, maybe you can answer. Can we add additional languages other than English and Spanish?
As far as I know, not right now. It's just English and Spanish.
Yeah, thank you, Ramya.
I think Patty's getting to all of the rest of them. Please raise your hand if we have a question along the way.
Yeah, there are a couple that I saw Patty hasn't got into. So one was, it would be very, I'm sorry, does the import overwrite all majors that are already in the system? For example, if a major is removed in a CSV file that is being imported and the major is already set in Apply, will importing remove it from the majors list and archive it?
The recommendation that we generally do is not delete anything from your CSV file. Instead, add an end date to it. Let's say the major has already ended this year of March, maybe. You can definitely backdate it and import the CSV file back into the administrator tool. So that particular major won't be seen. That is a recommendation. If you archive it, archive basically deletes from the stuff, deletes that particular major within the admin tool. But when you want to bring back, let's say you want to bring back that program for the students and you don't remember the term code, that makes it very hard for you to get it back into the system. You will have to reach out to us. We have to see our archive file, make sure that your term code doesn't conflict with the new one that you're creating. So we always recommend you using this end date rather than deleting it from your CSV file. If there is no end date, you can just leave it blank, like you can see in my screen. There are end dates for these two majors, but the other ones don't have an end date. So basically, until you provide an end date to it, it will be seen in the application.
Thank you, Ramya.
Mm-hmm.
And Patty, thanks for getting to those questions. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if there's anybody who wants to raise their hand and ask the question out loud, please feel free.
Yeah, I just saw Ting raise a hand. Do you have a question for us? Sandoval, I'm not sure if the participants can unmute themselves.
Yeah, I think checking on that now. All right. It should be clear. Folks, you should be able to unmute yourself to ask a question.
Ting, did you have a question for us? Okay, we can circle back.
Okay. So these are the different modules. The other one that was in the agenda was the bulk CCCID creation tool. That is specifically the access to it needs to be director approval access. Not everybody gets, whoever has the CAP admin access will not have access to this CCCID creation tool. We need to get a director approval in order for you to get access to this tool. So there are two different ways you can create CCCID. One is single user creation. The other one is multi-account creation. To create individual user, you can see in my screen here, you need to provide email address, their legal first name, last name, date of birth, create their password. In this case, the temporary password, I believe, is set to true, so that when the student tries to recover their account, they can change the password and go on and apply for the particular college. With multi-account creation, there is already a template file available for the colleges to use. I'm going to quickly show you how it looks. So this is how the template is set. You shouldn't be changing anything with the header file at all, because it gets harder for you when you're importing this back into the administrator tool. It will not import successfully. So please do not change the header file, but go ahead and provide all the information for the students here. Again, we recommend using this temporary password to be set to false, so that you as a college staff, if you have to apply for that particular student, you can go ahead and do so. And when you provide these accounts to the students, you can give them a brief description or step-by-step account recovery process that they can use to gain their account back. And the user guide definitely has more information as to how to do it, how to recover. Do not add anything to these three, because the status here, when you upload this multi-account creation file into the administrator tool, it will give you a status whether the account was created or not. If it's created, it will provide a CCC ID for that particular student. So do not add anything to these two columns at all for the multi-account creation. Do we have any more questions, Michael or Monica?
Yeah. Let's see. No, I think
Patty's getting him too.
Patty got to it. Yeah.
Okay. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the default is always for the standard and non-credit application. But if you have access to international and BOG, you just have to click on the drop-down application and choose international. Oops, I'm timed out. There you go. Let's see. So application and international. Again, you can set up terms and measures. Any application setups you do here or configured here, it'll only be reflected in your international application. And it is exactly the same way how we do it for our standard and non-credit. All right. Michael, I am done with the demo. If they don't have any questions, I can go on to the slide deck.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, MC got the user guide for the I think the request for the bulk account creation, CCID creation tool, which I'm not sure if it's directly linked in the CCCApply admin user guide. I'll take a quick look.
Got it.
I think MZ got that. Thank you, MZ. Let's see, what other questions do we have? And maybe Patty got to this one as well. For the import option, can you use commas and major descriptions when using the import option?
Commas in the description?
Yeah, or any other field. Corey was saying, we find it doesn't allow using commas in any of the field.
Yeah, I don't think in the description itself you can use a comma, but the category, yes. If a program falls into many categories, you can definitely use commas and import it back into the into the admin tool, but not the description. I doubt it. The description is going to take any commas in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I might have misunderstood that. I thought you were speaking about categories when I was recommending the comma separated.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thank you, Pat.
whoever asked that, I may have missed that.
Jane, I don't know if you're still with us. Can you hear me? We have a question about.
Yes, I'm sorry, you cut out.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a question from Kelly on whether there are updates on the upcoming shorter and separate dual enrollment high school enrichment application.
Yes. So we completed our phase 1 testing, but since then the system has announced, of course, that we are going with a vendor solution for our applications moving forward. So what we outlined in terms of the shortened questions and all of that, we're working to pass that on to Higher Digital and Liaison so that they can take all of that information and the streamlined application and move it forward into Liaison. So that is the go forward plan.
Thank you, Jane. If anyone has any follow-up questions on this, let us know, or you can reach out to us via email and happy to provide details. I don't think we have any additional questions, Ramya. So yeah, we can go to, thank you. So if we can go to the spam. Awesome. So for those who are new, we don't go into specific details on a feature that's been released, a fraud mitigation feature by direction from the Inspector General's office. But we have a private forum within ccctechnology.info. That's okay. Thank you. Within ccctechnology.info that you can gain access to by reaching out to our staff support team. The email is there, staff support ccctc@openccc.zendesk.com. They will send you a link to a form that once you fill out, gets verified, and then you will be able to access it and see the discussions that are happening there. We also have quarterly spam group that meets. So again, to request access to those channels, please reach out to our staff support team. But here's a quick look at what our product team has been working on. Significant improvements have been made to fraud mitigation tools over the past quarter. Those who are in the channel, you know the details. And as a result of these improvements, the fraudulent application volume has dropped steadily over the last 2 to 3 months, including after the release of the new Helium version. The product team is now in the process of enriching and developing staff tools to support local processes and reviews, including reviewing, spam applications, fraudulent applications. I think Jane commented a new spam filter utility is in the works and due for release, I think, early 2026. So how can you stay informed on what is happening system-wide, with regards to fraud? Like I said, please reach out to staff support and request access to the private channel. And within your college, if you're noticing a new trend and you see that your colleagues are noticing it, please reach out to the college experience managers. We can schedule a call with a product team to go over details of what you're noticing, so we can internally analyze and look at what measures need to be taken to combat whatever the new pattern might be. And please consider, if your school does not have a representative at the spam committee meetings, please consider having someone attend those. Okay. Now, what are the ways that Tech Center supports new staff that are taking on this role of administering the application standard, international, or CCC Promise Grant? The college experience managers who are part of the enabling services team host one-on-one trainings for your A&R teams. Please reach out to see the email address there and request training. If you have very specific questions, drop them a note, and again, we can schedule calls to go over those and help you also with recommendations based on what we have seen at other colleges. And when you're trying to configure either a term, major, anything you run into, questions, again, our college experience managers can help you with that. And last but not least, every school does report the fraudulent numbers every month. Again, if you're new to the role of reporting data for your school or district, and if you have questions about any of the data element that's being requested, please reach out to your college experience manager, and we can provide guidance on how to tackle it. If you run into production issues, one of the best ways to get resolution as swiftly as possible is to reach out directly to your staff support team. The email address is there. We have agents monitoring the channel, and they react as quickly as possible. So please consider reaching out to staff support with a CC to your college experience manager. That's always welcome. The things that our staff support team can help you with is system outage. If you're noticing, students running into issues with your colleges when accessing Apply, please reach out to staff support. Same thing with troubleshooting assistant. You set up something and you're trying to change a rule or something and you're running into issues. Staff support can help you there as well. And as we mentioned, access to the admin tool, access to the bulk account creation tool, access to the private spam group. These are things that our staff support team can help you with. Did I see someone raise their hand? Or MC, are there questions that I've missed?
Yeah. Quinn, do you want to unmute?
Sorry, I made a mistake. I think I got my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Kate, I see a question from you. You have students, applications getting caught in the spam filter, returning students. Please reach out and provide us with information. We will see what pattern our spam filter is picking up and blocking that. I think I saw Jane respond to someone via email earlier this week. This is something we're aware of, and the team continues to analyze patterns and make adjustments. So
Yes,
Sorry for
if you have application IDs for those students, we're getting help from a number of colleges to analyze that so we can retrain the model. We can't get into the details, but there are actually legitimate fraud flags on a lot of those students. So, but we'll be sharing details on that on the private spam forum once we complete our analysis. So any a list of applications for those students who got caught, again, confirm them as legitimate in the spam filter utility. That will help, right? And then also, if you have those lists handy, we can look at those particularly, because we did understand that in specific, a lot of dual enrollment students are getting caught.
Thank you, Jane. Crystal, to your question, I think both Jane and Pat have jumped in from the support side. I can tell you that's a top priority for us, and we're taking a phased approach. The end goal is a fully automated self-recovery action for the students. That's in the works, but we're going to get there in phases. So phase one would be where they can verify their identity, but that won't be completely automated. So there will still be a 1 or 2 business day delay, but we're working towards a fully automated solution. Monica, did I miss any questions?
No, Patty has gotten to most of them.
Awesome. Thank you, Patty.
Just trying to keep us on time, guys.
All right.
You have time to spare, huh?
Julie, good afternoon. Good to see you here. Yeah, so your college experience manager website has the which college experience manager is allocated to which school, but you can also drop an email to cems@ccctechcenter.org, indicate you're looking to connect with the college experience manager, and they will connect with you and help you with what you're looking for. Thank you.
Michael, do you have somewhere about the getting to the private spam forum? If there,
Yeah, yeah. In the slide, we have indicated they can reach out to staff support to get access. Patty, I don't know if that's what you're asking about.
Yep, that's what I'm asking. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Julie. So we'll leave the channel open. If you have any questions, please do let us know. And thank you so much again for reaching out. Like I mentioned, college experience managers are happy to schedule one-on-one training session for your team members. So please reach out. And that's something we offer on an ongoing basis. So reach out to them and request training sessions for your team. Thank you.
Michael, so who did you say we reach out for that kind of support?
You can reach out to your college experience manager. So you can reach out to the CEMS@ccctechcenter.org email. Let us know you're looking for a training session for your team, and we'd be happy to schedule that. So Alison, I saw your question about what kind of training sessions are included. So we offer training session on administering any of the application, standard, international, California Promise Grant, and we can help you with the bulk account creation tool as well. Any questions you have. It would be great if you're running into specific issues, if you can let us know when you reach out what issues you're running into. We can make sure we gather the info and help make sure the session is productive. Mo, did you have a question?
Yes, I just want to get clarification on what we talked about with the bulk OpenCCC creation. We have the template that you were referring to, and we just recently ran like the request and got an issue with like a password not being set or correct. So I know you guys went over that like during when Ramya was sharing her screen. But just
Yeah.
to clarify, is the password defaulted as false as a standard, or is it true? Can you go over that part one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to set the password to false in your multi-account creation process here. That is what the template shows. And the user guide also talks about it. This here, use temp password. You need to set it to false. This I think basically helps in you as a college staff applying on behalf of a student. It's not going to throw in password recovery options when you're trying to apply, when you're logging in as a student. You need to provide username, password. So it's not going to throw in an option asking you to change password. And that's easier when student is trying to recover their account. They can change their password according to their choice. So this needs to be column S, needs to be set to false.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for clarifying. I just saw it on the guide as well, but just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I think that, Crystal, you had a question. Is a student able to use the phone number for recovery rather than email? Yes. So in your OpenCCC account, they can select what is their preferred communication, and that's where the recovery link gets sent. Now, future iteration, like we were talking about the self-recovery and stuff, will be leaning, well, I don't want to give too much away, but we'll be. Oh, you're talking about the bulk account creation too? Is
Yeah,
that
I
what you're
don't think phone number is mandatory, Michael, for the CCCID creation tool. It has to be email address, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can dig more into it and get back to you.
Yeah, email is required.
Yeah,
And
email
I
is
think
required.
we default to that for the preferred method.
Yeah.
But they can always, once they recover their account or, reclaim their account, the student, they can go in and obviously edit the email, add a phone number, and then set the preferred method.
Yeah.
Both will have to get revalidated by them as well.
And one of the recommendations, Crystal, when creating bulk accounts, of course, the students' scenarios, circumstances are different in each case. We recommend that the student try to access the account as soon as possible. And like Patty mentioned, set their preferred communication channels and update the password as well. I don't see any new questions, but we'll stay on for a little while. Thanks, Ramya. Great job. Patty, thank you so much for that rapid fire answer. I appreciate it. MZ, thanks for keeping an eye on things. Did you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hit or miss a little bit, right? Because it's nice to have someone ask their questions out loud so everyone can benefit from the answers. But it's also kind of good to have them in the chat so that we can preserve that as well, once we send out the recording. Plus, I'm so amazed, Ron, you went through it all so quick. And so
Yeah.
Yes, the presentation, the slide deck, as well as this recording with additional resources will be emailed out in about 5 to 10 business days. Thank you. Kim, do you have a question for us?
I do. I have a question about your multiple account creation tool. Once the accounts are created, the students will be issued a CCCApply ID. do we log in under those account information and put in the application for the term? How does it work?
Yeah, if you're creating creating an account on behalf of a student, say an incarcerated student or someone who can't actually submit an application, then you would create their account on their behalf and then, turn around and sign in as that go to the application for the college that they want to apply to, sign in, validate the account for them, and then submit the application in their name. And the goal is ultimately to have them come back around someday and reclaim that account.
Uh-huh.
So I know that's a little bit tricky, and we're looking for ways to make that process a little smoother. But you would be providing that information to them. Hey, I created the account in on your behalf. Here's the email that we used. Give them the critical information they need to go in and update their account with their actual true information, and then they can take ownership of that account.
Yeah.
But they will see that submitted application in their My Applications page, as long as that thread isn't broken. Does that make sense?
Yes. I currently don't have access to upload or create any what's that feature, that multiple and single account CCCID. We received a few applications already for incarcerated student. I was just going to go into our SIS and actually, manually create application within our SIS system. And then
Right.
later on, once I have access to go into CCApply and create, upload the information so I could get a CCApply ID for those accounts. Is that an okay approach?
I would say yes, right?
Yeah, you have to provide us access request. You can send that email to the staff support email address that you're seeing on the screen. Like I mentioned in the demo, we need a director approval access. I'm sorry, I don't know your designation at your school college, but we do need a director approval for any open CCC creation tool access.
To give
Yeah.
you administrator access, basically,
Yeah.
what she's saying. But I think, were you just asking in general is that an acceptable process to do? I mean, if you choose to do it that way, then you can always go later and create that student an account so they can get a CCC ID. You don't have to submit an application for them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just asking a few different things, and you did answer that. It's just our MIS person, every time she see a student without a CCC ID on there, she comes back and asks why doesn't the student have one? And
Right.
so I do need to do the bulk upload so I could get CC IDs for the students. All right. Thank you, Patty. Appreciate your time.
Of course,
Yeah.
anytime.
And a lot of our schools do that, Kim. What you will see when you create the CCID after the application has been submitted, right? That application is not going to show up within CCCApply or within the account for the student, right? So later when they look at it, they're not going to see any past application, but there is not really much of a downside to that. It just doesn't have that info for tracking purposes or analysis purposes.
Thank you, Michael.
But thank you.
Okay, Michael, I'll note that it's 12:55. Not seeing any new messages come in, so I'll leave it to your discretion. When you're ready to end the meeting, let me know and I'll stop the recording.
Sounds good, Sandoval. Yeah, thank you, team. And thanks, Sandoval and Rebecca, for all the assistance in hosting today's session. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and close Sandoval. I see our colleagues are dropping off. Thanks,
Yeah,
everyone. Again, if you have any questions or we can help you with anything, please, you have the CM's email address or the staff support, please reach out. Happy to help you.
thanks, everyone.
Oh, did I just see someone's hand go up? I can't see that on my side, Sandoval. I saw something.
Yeah, I don't see it, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Ramya.
Mhm.